Hey everyone, Captain here. As some of you will recall, in the Discord recently I asked people to name a word that you think describes George. Got a lot of people participating. I really appreciate all the words people suggested. There were way too many to possibly use for this video. So I went ahead and narrowed it down to a set of words that I thought I could work with and keep the video from being super long. So what I'm going to do is just go through, name the word, read the definition, and see if I can draw a line from the word to George. So the first word is one that George himself, in a sense, used to describe himself in his legal proceedings early on, and that word is pauper. The definition is a very poor person. And amusingly, one of the similar words that they have here is bankrupt, which we all remember he, back in, what was it, 2016, filed for bankruptcy. And amusingly, in one of his videos, he mocked us when we told him he was going to lose his house because he declared the wrong type of bankruptcy. He said we were stupid and that we were idiots. Why else would someone declare bankruptcy but to save their house? And after he lost that house, he then went on to live in a vehicle for 5 years. 5 years! During that time, he has begged for money from Saunders and other people. So I think it's safe to say that he is indeed a pauper. He fought in court to become one. And then he fought his father's inheritance to become one. He dug his heels in and he fought his ass off to spend that money so he could become the pauper that he is. The next word is hobo. And the definition is a homeless person, a tramp, or vagrant. And one of the similar words is drifter. And I just know those nights that he's parked in whatever parking lot he's resting his head in, and the security guard comes and bangs on the window and tells him to move on, that he doesn't have any business in that parking lot, that he drifts on to the next one. So yeah, like I said in the previous word, he's been homeless for 5 years. He tries to cleverly deny it in calls with Saunders. He won't actually admit that he is. But I think it's pretty clear. 5 years of being on the street, you, my friend, are the homeless one. The next word is coward. And the definition says, a person who lacks the courage to do or endure dangerous or unpleasant things. Similar words, weakling, chicken. It's perfect timing to bring this word up because we know during GoonCon, the man that had begged people like Marty McFly, Joshua Miller, to come meet him, Jay Smith, many people that he had begged at one time to come and meet him, to come to Virginia, to say something to his face, and they wouldn't have a face. That man hid. He went into hiding. He let Roger and Watt bear the brunt of the goons being in town. He hid while they went to the cemetery and put up flyers, left gifts on the headstone of his father. I don't know that it gets much more cowardly than that. So that one is easy to prove. The next word is impotent. And I'm only going to read the first definition because the second definition has to do with sex. Something that George probably very rarely has. And being broke as he is, I'm sure he's not getting any right now. It says, for the definition, unable to take effective action, helpless or powerless. Well, hiding would prove how helpless and powerless he is. He really can't do anything. He's stuck in a cycle of making threats in his videos, but never doing anything. Never taking any kind of action. He couldn't. He can't. There's not a whole lot he could do. So Impotent sums him up almost perfectly. The next word is disappointment. And its definition says sadness or displeasure caused by the non-fulfillment of one's hopes or expectations. I think it's safe to say that his father was disappointed in him while he was still alive. That's why he made the will as ironclad as it was, because he knew that George was going to fail. That even with all those advantages, the money that he left him, the house, that George was bound and determined to fail. George's stupidity would not be contained by the clauses in that will. It was going to do everything it could to render him homeless and a failure of a son. His dad knew it. We see it all the time. So disappointment, dead on. The next word is obese. Very fat or overweight is the definition. One of the words, I bet George never even put this together. One of the words is corpulent. Similar words, I should say. I can verify this really easily by simply showing this. And it says, can obesity cause hernias? Obesity increases the risk for developing recurrent hernias, either at the site of the original hernia or other weakened areas. Being obese or overweight increases the strain and pressure on the abdominal muscles and makes them weaker and more prone to developing hernias. I almost don't need to say anything else. I mean, I could say that we saw his gut at the library. I could say we saw his shoes falling apart because he's so heavy. I could say that we heard him in the Phyllis call gobbling down quarter pounders, shoving them into his gullet. But I don't need to, because the hernia is all the proof that we need. So we're just going to move on to the next one. Controlled. The first definition is not one that relates to him. It says not showing emotion. We know he does from some of the pictures we've seen in those rant videos, but the second one is the one that we're concerned with, and it says, under the control of someone or something. George has lived the last 10 or so years of his life with the goons in the back of his mind, wondering how they'll react if he does X, or wondering what they'll do if he does Y. And so everything he does is with the goons in mind. Every action he takes, he does so in order to avoid the goons having information or reacting to something that he did, hiding it. So that, in itself, is showing how controlled he is. The comments on his videos being closed down, all that stuff, proves it without a doubt. We're going to finish up with one more word. Litigious. And the definition says, unreasonably prone to go to the law to settle disputes. And oh man, that couldn't be any more accurate than it is. Everything he does, he goes to the cops, he threatens lawsuits. One of the first times he was trolled on the videos, the first reaction he had was threatening people with a lawsuit. And it was done in the typical George fashion of hoping that that alone would scare someone to go away and to stop. And he hasn't learned since then that will never work. You're never going to win one of those lawsuits. It'll never work. But that's always his answer, is to sue someone or go to the cops. And as you would say, George, the proof is in the pudding. Doesn't work, won't work, will never work. Anyway, that's all I got for now. This is the captain. Signing off.